let's talk about something. What happens when you do everything you're supposed to do, you follow all the rules, but that stable, happy life you were working for just never shows up? That's the heart of the story we're exploring today.
This one sentence, man, it just hits home, doesn't it? It's this core belief that so many of us are raised with. If you put in the effort, you'll get the reward. But for the woman whose story this is, that belief was about to be completely turned on its head.
So, let's dive into the first part of her story. It really kicks off with this massive clash between the life she fought so hard to build and the actual day-to-day reality she was living.
Okay, just look at this breakdown. It's wild. On one side, you have her, a great university degree, a master's from a top school in London, a global career, and of course, paying her taxes. Then you have her ex-husband's path, 2 years of paid sick leave because of his drug addiction, followed by tax-free government benefits from more than 3 years, all while not working. So the very system she was paying into was basically bankrolling the person, making her life a living hell.
You can just feel the exhaustion in that, can't you? It's that feeling of just running as hard as you can, doing everything right, and seeing someone else just cruise by without lifting a finger. It's more than just unfair, it's a gut punch.
And that leads to this huge, nagging question that she just couldn't shake. She had the credentials, the work ethic, the drive. She saw people with way less going for them living these quiet, normal lives she wanted so badly. So why wasn't that her reality? What went so wrong?
Now, this wasn't just some abstract frustration about fairness or finances. It came with this incredible, hidden weight she had to carry every single day. She was basically living two completely different lives.
Just try to imagine the mental gymnastics here. Every morning, she puts on her professional mask. She's got to be cheerful, organized, on top of everything at work. But the second she clocks out, she's racing to pick up her kid and walking back into a home that's just filled with anxiety and fear.
And we're not talking about a vague worry. This was a specific, terrifying, minute-by-minute kind of fear. The feeling that at any moment, something terrible could happen. Living with that level of stress is just corrosive. And yet, she had to hide it all behind a smile at work.
And get this wasn't just a bad week or a rough month. She lived this double life, this constant state of fear, for a year and a half, 18 months of hiding it all.
So you'd think when things are this bad, she could reach out for help, right? Well, this is the part of the story where the very systems that are supposed to be a safety net just completely let her down.
The first place to fail her was her job. The one place she was trying so hard to keep normal became the source of this deep, personal betrayal.
I mean, just let that sink in. In a moment of total crisis, she confides in HR, the one department you're supposed to trust with sensitive information, and instead of getting help, her private nightmare becomes office gossip. Senior managers are literally making fun of her behind her back. It's just a complete violation.
Okay, so work is a disaster. She makes a desperate call to social services, just looking for a safe place for her and her little girl. She lays it all out, the drugs, the constant fear, the emotional chaos, and the response she gets? Basically, a cold, bureaucratic no. Because he hadn't physically hit her yet, because there were no bruises to prove it, her fear didn't count. They couldn't help.
And in that moment, sitting in a conference room crying after that call, she has this soul-crushing realization that the whole idea of a social safety net, for her, it was just empty words on a pamphlet.
But after hitting absolute rock bottom, something amazing happens. It's not a change in her circumstances, but a change in her mind. A huge mental shift that reframes everything.
She asks the question we would all ask. It's that cry of, why me? I did everything I was supposed to. Why is this my reward? It feels like a punishment, right? Like she's being unfairly punished for some crime she didn't even commit.
And then, a different answer starts to bubble up. It begins with this really simple but powerful idea. Maybe this isn't a punishment at all.
And there it is. That's the game changer. She stops seeing herself as a victim that things are happening to and starts seeing herself as the main character of her own life. See, a punishment is passive. It's done to you. But a story is something you get to own.
This new way of thinking gives her a whole new sense of purpose. She starts to see this incredibly hard road not as a mistake, but as a different kind of calling. Maybe she wasn't meant for the easy path. Maybe she was chosen for the path that builds real depth, real strength.
And this brings us to the final and most powerful chapter of this explainer. It's about how she took this incredible insight and started to build a brand new life, a new story on her own terms.
And really, that's the big idea here. The past doesn't have to be a punishment you just carry around. You can actually take all of it, every hardship, every betrayal, every moment of fear, and you can rewrite it. You can turn it from a story about being a victim into a story about being a survivor. And that leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? What parts of our own lives could we rewrite, not as punishments we had to endure, but as the very stories that made us who we are today?